Hello, thanks for joining us. This is Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguela. Vice President Kashim Shettima has departed Abuja to represent President Bola Tinubu at the G77 plus China Leaders Summit in Havana, Cuba from 15th to 17th September 2023. In a statement by the Director of Information Office of the Vice President, Olushola Abiola says he will be joining other world leaders, including the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, at the summit to deliberate on development issues facing members mostly from the global south. The summit will equally explore proactive ways of addressing challenges facing the development of the member states, leveraging science, technology and innovation to enhance socio-economic growth. The Vice President will, on the sidelines of the summit, hold bilateral meetings with other world leaders to promote Nigeria's trade and investment relations in line with the economic development diplomacy of the Tinubu administration. The Havana summit is being hosted by the President of the Republic of Cuba, Miguel Diaz-Canel, as chairman of the G77 and China under the theme Current Development Challenges, the Role of Science, Technology and Innovation. Nigeria is a founding member of the G77 group, which was established in 1964 by 77 developing countries. The group, a coalition of 134 developing countries with 80% of world population, aims to promote its members' collective economic interests and create an enhanced joint negotiating capacity in the United Nations. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, commends President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his ingenuity and proactiveness in resolving the visa crisis with the United Arab Emirates, describing the action as a socio-political showpiece. Akpabio said it was an act of genius for the president to have seamlessly restored diplomatic relations between Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates, considering the economic loss incurred by both nations while the unfortunate disagreement lasted. A statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Eseme Eyibo, says with the peaceful resolution of the face-off, both nations are on track to reap bountifully from their ties. The statement adds that Akpabio is highly elated at the development, explaining that it is a strategic move that will reinvent and strengthen consular and economic ties between Nigeria and the UAE. The Senate President assured President Tinubu that the National Assembly, under his leadership, would continue to provide the required legal framework to enable the executive implement the good policies outlined in the Renewed Hope Agenda blueprint. Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives Benjamin Okezie Kalu has also commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for walking the talk in his efforts to restore the pride and glory days of Nigeria among Committee of Nations. In a statement, the Deputy Speaker applauds President Tinubu's diplomatic meeting with President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan of the United Arab Emirates, which has led to immediate cessation of the visa ban placed on Nigerian travelers. Benjamin Kalu also hailed the president's efforts at bringing back old multinational corporations to Nigeria, noting that the administration is committed to fixing the country for the good of all and sundry. Kalu, however, said the parliament will be scrutinizing the job of the executive arm of government in line with the constitution to prevent any sabotage of the president's efforts towards national development. Let's look at the economy. Experts at the Association of Capital Market Academics of Nigeria say the policy measures rolled out in the first 100 days of the new administration are playing significant roles in growing the nation's economy. Bosade Ebel reports that the briefing also applauded the recent engagements by the president with international investors, the one in India and the United Arab Emirates, and hope that the pledges made by the investors materializes to forex liquidity and job opportunities.
At this forum, The speakers noted the significant performance of the stock markets, where the benchmark index, that's the NGX All-Share Index, hit the highest level ever in the history of the Nigerian stock markets, with more than 68,000 basis points, and suggests way forward.
The solution remains embarking on deliberate efforts to diversify the export base. In the meantime, the government should give support to the Central Bank of Nigeria in the implementation of the RT 200 program, especially in relation to port reforms, while it works on the ease of doing business to pave way for increased foreign investments.
The association says it believes that unlocking the value in dead assets is one way to improving the country's fiscal liquidity, and commends the present administration for recognizing the capital markets as a major pillar in its economic blueprint, as contained in the President's policy advisory. In this regard, they are recommending the setting up of a capital market advisory committee comprising capital market experts in the industry and the academia, whose mandate will be to provide research-based advice to the coordinating Minister of the Economy on public-private partnership arrangements and various financing opportunities in the capital markets. In Abuja, Bosede Ebo, NTA News.
Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Utsev, says strengthening all agencies, departments and units, including river basin authorities, to function optimally to deliver on Nigeria's water and sanitation hygiene WASH priorities remains top on his agenda. Professor Joseph Utsev said this during a walk-in visit to the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency head office in Abuja. Let's hear more from Olusheye Adiagbo.
It is their first outing office engagement, and for Professor Joseph Utsev, alongside Bello Goronyo, the two are at the NISA office to know the present state of its operations and orders hampering performance. Consequently, the NISA Director General took the two ministers on an inspection of facilities, explaining how the agency has been rendering hydrological service and providing reliable hydrological and hydrogeological data on a continuous basis for management of Nigeria's valuable water resources.
This place is too tight for the agency. Some international bodies want to bring some equipment to us, but they said we can't put it in the rented apartment. We also need capacity building.
We decided to first go and have a first-hand information at the various centers you have, which has to do with the data collection. We believe there is a lot to do.
The agency is very, very important, not only to the predictions as it helps us in crop production or in food production. And we, as Ministry of Water Resources and Environment, will not sleep, will not leave any stone unturned.
The ministers enjoined all technical departments, support departments and units to align with the ministry's mandate as contained in the Renewed Hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
For more than a decade after Petroleum Trust Development Fund Skills Development Center in Port Harcourt was conceived, the federal government is taking steps to ensure its completion towards training of low and middle cadre manpower for the oil and gas industry. Kinsley Amajiri reports that Minister of State Petroleum Heineken Dokobiri was at the site to appraise progress of work so far.
The PTDF Skills Development Center was conceived in 2010 to train low and middle level manpower for the oil and gas sector. Construction work commenced in 2011 with various aspects of the project at different levels of completion. The long time frame since the project conception resulted in delays in the completion. NCDMB's intervention increased the overall level of project completion.
So we did approach PTDF and said, this skill center that you are building why don't we get together and get it functional? The major part of it, in terms of value and the rest of it, or we took as NCDMB to say we will complete them.
The Minister of State Petroleum is at this site to inspect the level of work and also appraise the challenges to the completion of this project. Minister of State Petroleum Henneken Lokbobri, after meeting with the stakeholders and tour of the facility, says the federal government is poised to ensuring quick completion and usage of the facility.
This project will be completed within a short time and be put, to use. This project is more important now than ever. So the skills we're talking about are skills that we use for the petroleum industry.
So far, work at the Vocational Center Tower Building, workshop, library, auditorium and residential homes have been completed. The hostels and cafeteria projects are still ongoing. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
There is a burning issue in Makurdi, where we hear developers in Benue State have over the years been passing through undue harassment from youths who impose illegal levies, they codenamed matching ground, before they will be allowed to build or do business. Now, due to this detrimental effect in the development of the state, the House of Assembly recently introduced a bill for a law to prohibit the harassment of investors, which has passed through second reading. Grace Anyalewa will tell us more about it.
The bill, which was presented by a former member who is now a commissioner in the state, was presented for second reading by the majority leader, Sate Tise.
A bill for a law to prohibit harassment and extortion of money from investors, developers, and businessmen in Benue State.
It is worrisome to note that Benue citizens of the middle and low income strata are not spared by these youth groups who find pleasure in harassing and extorting money from land developers.
Members in their various contributions said the activities of some youth and traditional rulers have discouraged developers and investors to invest in the state.
If we want to write our name in the good, we should hasten up and pass the bill to law. Let us add a clause on this bill to spare a jail term for any violator of this law.
If we continue to allow this menace to go on in this state, our land will not develop, particularly the state capital.
The Deputy Speaker, Lami Danladi, who presided over the sitting, said the bill will be given speedy legislative process to ensure it is signed into law. From the State House of Assembly, Grace Anyalewa, Ichepa, NTA News.
And to expatiate more on that issue, talking about the bill, we want to look at the implications of that undue harassment of developers in Benue State, which they codename matching ground. We're joining our correspondent now live in Makurdi, Grace. She wants to give us an update on that. Grace, are you ready for us?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Behind me is the banquet hall of the Government House Makurdi, where the members of the Assembly are currently sitting as a result of the renovation work that is going on at the Assembly complex. For some time now, land developers have been having hard times in carrying out their businesses in the town as a result of the harassment, extortion, and illegal taxes being imposed upon them by some members of the community. It is to address this issue that a bill to prohibit this menace passed through a second reading on the floor of the House. And with me to throw more light on the bill is a majority whip of the Benue State House of Assembly, Mr. Peter Iputsu. Sir, please, can you tell us what damage has this matching ground has cost the state so far?
It has caused Benue people more harm than good. You will see that a lot of people who have come to develop the state, to invest here, have run away because of the matching grant issue. A lot of people just come in to develop Benue, bring a lot of things for Benue people, and because of these matching grant issues, people have run back to their, no investors are coming. Even developing, you buy a plot of land for 1 million naira, you spend close to 1 million in bribing people. People come and collect a lot of money from you, so it has caused more harm than good.
Okay, can you please tell us what could be responsible for this?
I think it's just miscreants, people who, laziness, people who have chosen to steal from what it is not, people who have chosen not to work for what they want. They just want to get cheap money, want to get harass people for over cheap things. That's why.
Okay. Sir, when this bill is finally passed into law, what do you think how it will benefit the people of the state?
Benue people will be overexcited. People will be happy because a lot of revenue is going to come back to the state. Developers will come back knowing fully well that they are not going to be harassed by people who cause themselves that they are collecting money from matching ground. So I know that Benue people will be very excited that the bill has gone through.
Okay. You've heard it all. We now hand over to the studio for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Grace, for that update. Our correspondent giving us insight into the prospect of the bill that could end the undue harassment of developers in Benue State. Let's flip to other issues. Tackling growing security concerns in the country will require strategic implementation of community policing at sub-national levels. This formed the crux of resolutions at a stakeholders meeting of the Vigilante Group of Nigeria. Ekene Nduluwe reports.
For years now, advocacy has tilted towards adoption of community policing to deal with internal security situations in Nigeria. Vigilante Group of Nigeria is the latest group to add their voice to this advocacy. They say with about 1 million volunteers, the group is well positioned to provide solution to the attacks on soft targets like schools and farmlands.
We have over 1 million and they're from every state of the 36 states. The government, I want them to realize that our strength, our numerical strength is one of our big advantage.
The conference is looking for ways to enhance synergy between Vigilante Group of Nigeria and other security agencies.
If you see vigilante people on the highway, you see them in the school, you see them on the farm, that's a deterrent already. Their presence is already a deterrent. So all we just have to do is to be able to harness their numeric strength, their spread, their leadership, to be able to deal with issues of internal security.
Indeed, security is a collective responsibility, and these volunteers are leaving no one in doubt of their readiness to fight criminality in their respective states. Ekene Nduluwe, NTA News.
10 suspects are currently in custody of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Rivers State Command, for alleged vandalism, economic sabotage and illegal oil dealings. Now, this comes as the command calls for a review of enabling acts to enhance effective prosecution, which will serve as a deterrent. Kinsley Amajiri will tell us more.
The 10 suspects paraded by the NSCDC Rivers State Command for alleged involvement in vandalism, illegal oil dealings in petroleum products, and other nefarious crimes is part of the intensified efforts by the officers of the command to curb all forms of economic sabotage in the oil sector. The success recorded in the latest arrest followed collaboration with sister security agencies.
Sequel to the long-existing relationship between NSCDC and other sister agencies, be rest assured that thorough investigation will be conducted. The command, through her legal unit, will approach the court of competent jurisdiction for legal details.
The anti-vandal unit of NSCDC also impounded cars, 15 drums of automated gasoline oil (AGO), a wooden boat, among other things used by the suspects to carry out the legal acts.
Our urge is that the appropriate legislative agencies, the government, should look into some of these laws.
The command is, however, concerned that some offenders prosecuted in the past are not deterred owing to the light penalties in Port Harcourt. Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
All right, we'll pause from this end as we join Michael in Lagos to pick up with some more reports. Michael?
Thank you, Ruth. Speakers of state legislatures in the southwestern parts of the country met at the Lagos State House of Assembly to discuss issues of common interest aimed at charting a new course for the progress of the zone ahead of the forthcoming Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures in Abuja. Musa Toliat completes the report.
The Southwest speakers have common issues of concern, and coming together to review the progress made in legislative principles in the zone necessitates the meeting. Though it was a closed-door session, the speakers hint that deliberations revolved around the forthcoming Abuja meeting of the Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures, where a new leadership is expected to emerge.
We also discussed coming election of the Speakers Conference nationally, so we have to go from home, at least with one single voice. So we deliberated upon that, which the chairman has been seated to Southwest, and we have two people running from Southwest. We have Ogun from my right and Oyo to my left, both of them running for the same post. So we are trying to harmonize our decision before going for the election.
Discussions also focused on the development agenda for Western Nigeria as it relates to the economic progress in the region.
We are here for a conference, a meeting, to decide on particularly about Southwest, about development agenda for Western Nigeria, about the coming election, and about the security in our zone, the region. These are the things that we have discussed, and on how to have peer review and cross-fertilization of ideas among the legislatures in the Southwest.
Visiting the Lagos State House of Assembly creates a lasting impression in the mind of the speakers. The speakers lauded Lagos lawmakers for standing firm in their support for democracy, true governance, and sustaining a virile legislative arm of government in the state. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
A man who has been parading himself as Deputy Commissioner of Police has found himself in police net. He was paraded alongside 13 other suspects nabbed recently at various locations across the state by the Lagos State Police Command. Lynn Neneke reports.
The Lagos State Police Command says it's recording successes on a daily basis in its efforts to bringing crime rates to the barest minimum. This is evident in the frequency in arrest and recovery of firearms. In the space of 2 weeks, another set of suspects are being paraded for various crimes, including impersonation, robbery, gang rape, and unlawful possessions of arms. This time around, 4 firearms, 1 vehicle, 6 mobile phones, a large quantity of hard substance, and police warrant card among items recovered. Among those paraded is a 40-year-old female who was caught in possession of 97 wraps of Colorado, 22 wraps of loud, mixtures of hard substances, and over 200,000 naira cash in the Ikorodu area of Lagos. Another case is that of one Emmanuel Nwago for parading himself as a commissioner of police.
He actually came into the police headquarters and was about to facilitate or request the release of a hardened criminal in our custody. Of course, he introduced himself as Commissioner of Police, and that was as far as he could convince us, Commissioner of Police. Further questioning, where are you serving, and some other things. He gave himself away, and he has been arrested. The investigation reveals that he has been doing this for quite some time.
Force Public Relations Officer Benjamin Hundeyi says the command has a renewed vigor to see to the end of crimes in Lagos State. While the police is following up on some of the cases, it is also appealing to the general public to support it with necessary information that would lead to fishing out criminals and provide protection for residents. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
Be reminded that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. The news continues after this break with Kemi in Ibadan. Please stay.
Fellow Nigerians, this period may be hard on us, and there is no doubt that it's tough on us. But I urge you all to look beyond the present temporary pains and aim at the larger picture. All our good and helpful plans are in the works. More importantly, I know that they will work.
It's it's life. Once you lose hope, you lose life. Once people get lifted to a certain level, they start feeling godlike.
What would you attribute this backwardness in education to in the North to date?
I feel balai.
What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong.
The program is Reflections.
Welcome to Ibadan. In line with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu on education for all, National Open University of Nigeria Fidelity Studies Center has been birthed to help indigent students access tertiary education. This came to reality through unanimous aspiration of sons and daughters of the ancient town. Adebola Agbaje was there.
There are many ways to educate tomorrow's leaders and make higher education both accessible and affordable, but one extremely important way to bridge the gap between funding expectation and funding reality is through donations. Alumni in Nigeria are not new and have been a consistent support of their alma mater. The only level of education that enjoys massive financial and material support from their former students is the mission and government-owned secondary school, and for university level, these coordinated efforts are less common. These efforts brought into existence a study center of the National Open University of Nigeria in Fidelity by the sons and daughters of the community.
We are laying a very foundation of our future, one that promises comprehensive growth, intellectual expansion, and socio-economic elevation for all.
Let us embark on this extraordinary journey that holds in its grasp an unprecedented opportunity for our homeland.
While appealing, they said increased funding will significantly improve the quality of education in Nigerian universities and attract the best students and academics from Nigeria and around the world. From Oyo, Adebola Agbaje, NTA News.
For the benefit of a safe community, security of lives and property is a collaborative effort of the security agencies and citizens. This was impressed by the commandant. NSCDC Oyo State Command Michael Adaralewa during a working visit to the Area A Command of the Corps Iyaganku, Ibadan. Grace Ayonleke brings us details.
Technology advancement has made it easier for law enforcement to apprehend criminals despite how criminals are engaging technology to perpetrate their evil deeds. These came to the fore at a summit tagged Public Enlightenment on Security Issues, Everybody's Business, organized by the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, aimed at achieving a crime-free society, held in Ibadan, Oyo State capital.
It's also an opportunity for us to listen to the general populace, to have a feedback mechanism. We are serving them, but in the area that we are not doing enough, they would also give us the feedback.
Taking pride in the work done so far, the stakeholders pledged their support to the NSCDC in promoting peaceful coexistence within the communities in the command.
2 police stations is under construction in my local government. We've given men of NSCDC 2 brand new motorbikes. We too, we are cooperating with them, which means that one we allow them to enjoy their own service.
By being vigilant and reporting suspicious activity to combat crimes, the residents and businesses in the Area A Command were educated on roles to be played in promoting public safety and positive values in Ibadan. Grace Anyoleke, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. It's back to you, Ruth.
Thank you very much, Kemi. More than 1,700 women and youths have been empowered to be self-reliant in Birnin Kebbi and Arewa local government areas of Kebbi State by the wife of the governor. Hassan Abubakar Koko reports.
Program, which is under the Nasara Foundation, an initiative of the wife of the governor, is aimed at uplifting the living standard of the beneficiaries and become productive members of the society. The governor's wife said the empowerment program would be extended to all the 21 local government areas of Kebbi State to assist women engaged in trades for self-reliance. She, however, appealed to traditional rulers in the state to provide the desired support and cooperation for the government to develop the education sector. I'm appealing to our youth to strive and seek for Western and Islamic knowledge, because the importance of knowledge cannot be overemphasized. We will continue to engage our youth in various skills and empower them to reduce redundancy in the state. The State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Halima Hassan Kamba, said more empowerment materials will be procured and more women and youth in the state will benefit.
When you empower a woman, you are empowering the knowledge, because you are empowering the household, the husband, the children, and even the neighbors.
Some of the beneficiaries thanked the governor's wife for the gesture. They were enjoined to use the items given to them to generate income and be self-reliant. From Birnin Kebbi, Hassan Abubakar Koko, NTA News.
The illicit act of substance abuse is increasing among youths and becoming worrisome, as girls now engage in the act capable of physical, social, or emotional harm. In Abuja, the substances we hear are easily accessible for consumption, as they form major wares displayed by traders in the nooks and crannies of the town. Yemi Dalemo, our correspondent, will give us an insight now into the substance abuse in the state.
Open display of some herbal drinks and alcohol laced with illicit substances are common sights within the society. Apart from the conventional drinks, youth also engage in abusing non-conventional medicines. The effects of these substances on youth, both physically and mentally, have also been the major concern of every stakeholders.
NDLA go out and make raid to make sure that the people that are supplying this drug, or the people that are dealing, selling, cultivating, they face the law.
In Abuja, Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
And from Yemi Dalemo's report there, we connect to our correspondent, another person this time around, but still in Abuja, Lekon Agbonde. He wants to give us an insight on the measures being taken, to stem the tide to the prevalence of substance abuse in the state. Lekon, please go ahead.
Thank you, Ruth. The phenomenon called substance abuse has become a big monster that has threatened our nation economy and social life. And the agency that is working tirelessly to ensure that they fight these menace are working, and they are yet to return home to roost. And I have the commander of the NDLEA in Ogun State here with us, who is going to tell us what the level of prevalence of the use of substance state. Ma, now, how will you describe the level of prevalence of substance abuse in the state?
Thank you for this question, and thank you for having me. First of all, the substance abuse global phenomenon, and Nigeria, a member of the world family, also is not immune from. The government of Nigeria, in collaboration with the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime, published its first ever national drug use survey. And that survey had one of its key findings stating that the southwest geopolitical zone of the country had the highest drug abuse annual prevalence rate, which then was standing at 22.4. And Ogun State, being a prominent and prestigious state in the southwest, would also imply that it has a high substance abuse rate in the southwest and in the country.
Now, as an agency, what is the agency is doing in Ogun State to ensure that they fight this fight?
Well, the agency in Ogun State is also driven through the national drug control policies, and we are doing this in line with global best practices, which means that we are driving the processes on two broad major drug control components: the supply reduction and the drug demand reduction. The supply reduction is that which focuses on arrest, seizure, prosecution of offenders, while the drug demand reduction focuses on prevention, treatment, recovery, and reintegration back into the society of people who are abusers. These two broad components that the agency is driving its drug control efforts.
There's no stakeholders to this the fight. Now, any note of warning to parents, especially in taking care of their children?
Just like we all know that the substance abuse problem is a multifaceted problem, which means that there are different reasons why people take drugs, and drugs also affect people in different ways. And because the drug abuse problem is a consequent problem, which means that something will be missing, something will be lacking before the drug abuse problem will be triggered in an individual. So parenting, just like you have asked, is very key, because most of these problems actually start from the home. When parents don't pay adequate attention, don't monitor, don't give adequate discipline, don't give adequate bonding, don't provide, then you find that they raise weak children. Because I've always told parents that the home is like a factory, which produces the raw material that drives the families and drive communities, and in turn drive the states and the nation. So we are working more closely with parents under the War Against Drug Abuse platform, where we know that everybody has to come on board, because it is a collective responsibility, an initiative put in place by our current Honorable Chairman, Chief Executive, who has done so much to drive the processes of the agency to address the current needs of those who are using drugs and to meet the needs of dismantling drug cartels and drug trafficking networks.
Thank you very much. And just like it is collective responsibility, and it is on that note we return to Ruth at the studio. Thank you very much. I'm Lekon Agmode.
Thank you very much, Lekon. And no awareness is too much. We must stem the tide of drug abuse. And like they say there in Abuja, there are also voices saying it's a collective fight against drug abuse and trafficking to checkmate crime and criminality and ensure sustainable economic growth. This was the message from the Enugu State Governor, Peter Mba, while playing host to the State Commander, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in the state. Chika Ugu reports.
Every human organization, government and non-governmental, is a stakeholder in the drug control. Government at all levels, federal, state and local government, must be actively involved in drug control activities in conjunction with NDLEA.
Governor Peter Mbah called for more sensitization in schools, urban and rural areas, and the need for the NDLEA and state government to come up with strategic programs to win the war.
Understand the clear connection between economic growth and having a vibrant workforce. So, which is why we are certainly interested in your activity, and we are going to continue to support your activity.
The governor also reiterated his administration's commitment to engage youths in the state skillfully and looked forward to a cordial working relationship with the NDLEA. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
Jigawa state government is taking proactive measures to make headway in tackling issues of illicit activities to ensure social justice for all citizens. Governor Umar Namadi made the revelations when he received a courtesy call from the United Nations country representative on drugs and crimes, Mr. Oliver Stolt. Shehu Mohammed Datti reports.
Establishment of Anti-Drugs Commission, fighting corruption, gender-based violence, and ensuring accountability were issues raised by the United Nations country representative on drugs and crimes. While a stolen Jigawa state government stride on anti-corruption and transparency, Mr. Oliver identified two other areas in the fight against corruption in the state. He called for proactive measures to tackle drug abuse and crimes for the overall well-being of the people in the state. Governor Umar Namadi described the visit as an opportunity to cement a relationship in attaining the desired goals. Key among the governor's 12-point agenda is social justice and strengthening effective mechanisms to ensure citizens' welfare. Governor Umar Namadi seeks for technical support in the areas of public complaint commission, justice partnership, and correctional service reform. Governor Umar Namadi later presented a souvenir to the country representative. In Duse, Shehu Mohammed Datti, NTA News.
We'll take another break. Please don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
Our commitment is to promote the greatest good for the greatest number of our people. On principle, we shall never falter. We will get out of this turbulence. And due to the measures we have taken, Nigeria will be better equipped and able to take advantage of the future that awaits her.
Last term had the Bundesliga's most leaky defence of all. Really have with them so far these first 30 minutes, the derby spirit. Here is Vitek, and Kevin Starker's shot is a rocket. In behind, and Lodacross, and Marmouche has levelled the game for Frankfurt. Where has that come from for the 10 men?
Sportybet sponsors coverage of the German Bundesliga.
Welcome back. A look at politics. The African Democratic Congress has called for a re-evaluation of Nigeria's political landscape and leadership, stressing that the current state of Nigerian politics requires a fresh approach to leadership and development.
Our new Buddhism must anchor on characters of integrity, and leverage on the development paradigm that integrates indigenous knowledge and modern learning.
Its achievements and commitment to party unity, highlighting the global recognition received by party members in international forums. Nasarawa state government is engaging the organized labor in the state to fine-tune modalities for the disbursement of palliatives to civil servants and pensioners. The engagement is manifest in meetings between the government and leadership of the unions in Lafia. Aliyu Tijani reports.
Nasarawa state government had earlier announced that each civil servant in the state will receive 10,000 naira as palliatives for the next 6 months, while pensioner is to be supported with 5,000 naira. The pronouncement necessitates this meeting with representatives of the state government and the organized labor to enable government commence payment immediately.
5 billion is given uniformly to every state, and we are one of the smallest states by population. So if a state with 15 million people was given that amount and they are able to cushion the effect, so a state like ours should be able to do some extra things, and that's the wisdom behind us doing certain things that probably some of the bigger states may not do.
The organized labor in the state commends the state government for the initiative and appeals that government offset backlog of promotion arrears as well as consequential adjustment for workers. In the meantime, Governor Abdullahi Sule has been touring local government areas across the state, presenting palliatives to the vulnerable. Each beneficiary smiled home with 50 kg bag of rice and 5,000 naira. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
2 people have been confirmed dead as a result of a boat mishap at Kwatang Malam Adamu in Gurin Fufore local government area of Adamawa State. Yusuf Jika reports that Governor Amadu Umaru Fintiri, who commiserated with the families of the deceased, has also given directive for the enforcement of regulations on operations of inland waterways.
The boat conveying over 40 passengers capsized at the middle of the river due to heavy windstorm, claiming 2 lives. 12 were rescued, while rescue operations are still ongoing to get the missing persons. Governor Amadu Umaru Fintiri, who was disturbed on the unfortunate incident, visited Green community to commiserate with the family of the victims. He promised to provide life jackets to passengers, directed for the enforcement of regulations on operations of inland waterways in the state.
It's an accident, but an avoidable one. It has happened. We are taking measures to ensure we put some safety nets around the canoe business, particularly at this terrible time of the year that we're experiencing serious rainfall, a lot of thunderstorm, a lot of windstorm.
The district head of Green, Abubakar Baba Green, thanked Governor Fintiri for the visit and assured him of the support of the traditional institution for the development of the state. In Yola, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
Sports update.